Yes. Hello people, how are you? What's up? I hope you all are doing super fantastic, amazing. So people, in our last lecture, we have begin with the chapter of the takeover code. Until now, how to raise finance from the capital markets is done, insider trading is done. Now, in our last lecture, we have begin with this beautiful chapter called as the takeover code. By the next two lectures people, we will be done with this chapter also. Okay, so without wasting any time people, let's go through quickly whatever we have studied till now. Okay people, chalo. People, we have begun this chapter with an amazing case study about how Hindustan Unilever acquired GSK's business of Horlicks and Boost. We clearly understood beautifully, practically as to how takeover actually happens. Right people? After we heard the story, we have begun with the chapter with the definition part. Yes or no people? Yes. In the definition, we understood first the meaning of takeover. What is the meaning of takeover? We understood. Then people, we understood what is the meaning of substantial acquisition of shares. Okay. Then people, we understood what is the meaning of an acquirer. Then when can we call it as gaining control over a target company also we understood. Next people, we understood the meaning of frequently traded shares also we understood. Okay, amazing. Then people, tendering period, we have left this topic to be completed in the last. Okay. Then people, we understood the meaning of offer price, we understood the meaning of identified date, we understood the meaning of offer period. Then people, then acquire meaning we understood. Then we also understood the meaning of what is the meaning of persons acting in concert. Okay. Then we also understood the same way like inside trading deemed to be persons acting in concert. Okay. Then people, the last definition that we studied was the target company's definition we understood. Okay. All right. Now after that, after we completed the definition part, we understood what are the types of takeover. What are types of takeover? Horizontal, vertical, conglomerate, friendly, hostile, every single thing we understood. Okay. Then people, we came to the rules and regulation part of the chapter where we understood the requirement of an open offer. The moment an acquirer crosses 25%, he is supposed to acquire additional 26% of shares of the target company. SEBI tells this, right people? The moment an acquirer acquires 25% or more, SEBI immediately steps down in between and asks the acquirer, now you have to make an open offer to acquire additional 26% of shares of the company. SEBI tells them, acquirer does not voluntarily does it. Okay. Then people, once an acquirer is now holding 25% or more shares, then the moment he wants to acquire 5% or more shares in a target company in one financial year, again he has to make an open offer. Until here people, we understood. Till here we finished in the last lecture people. Today is going to be the heart of the chapter. It's going to be super amazing people. I'm 100% sure that you are going to love this lecture so much that you're going to tell this to your parents, you're going to tell this to your friends that this is what we understood in the chapter of takeover code. This is how actually company apply the takeover regulations in real life. We will understand this people. Okay. So without wasting any time, let me tell you what are topics that we are going to cover today. We will understand what are the additional rules a company has to comply with the moment it has acquired more than 25% shares. Okay. Two conditions we understood. Then people, what is the meaning of voluntary open offer? Until now, we only know that SEBI tells the acquirer to make an open offer to acquire additional 26% shares. Now people, over here, acquirer is voluntarily making an open offer. Now why would the acquirer do that? We are going to understand. And how will the acquirer do that? That is also we are going to understand. Okay. After that people, once you have made an open offer, can you withdraw that open offer? We are going to understand. Okay. People, I'm just highlighting it. Then people, how does the open offer actually take place? The process of open offer. Then mode of payment to shareholders. Now that you have decided that to acquire the shares, now what is the consideration that you are going to pay to shareholders? You will understand. Then what is the meaning of escrow account? Beautiful concept. What are the forms of escrow funding? Okay. What are the obligations of target company? Now, the moment HUL has acquired GSK, what are the responsibilities of GSK? We're going to understand. What are the responsibilities of HUL also we understand. And then people, then last is going to be the most beautiful topic. That is, even when you are acquiring shares, still you will be not called as a person who is taking over the company. What are those extraordinary circumstances under which such exemptions can be provided? We will understand. Cool people? Everyone with me? Chalo. Let's begin people. Let's begin with our next topic. That is, what are the additional rules an acquirer has to comply with the moment he has crossed 25%, 30%, 40%, 50%. Okay? Chalo. Okay. So, what are the additional rules? Let's understand. People, what is the meaning of public float requirement? What is the meaning of public float? People, now I have told you all these regulations are only applicable to target company. All these regulations are applicable to target company, acquirer, or whoever is listed. We understood, right people? What are we studying actually? We are studying SEBI regulations. Now SEBI regulations will obviously be applied to the company that is listed on stock exchange. Yes or no people? Yes. Now people, now when you call your company as a listed company, don't you think minimum percentage of shares of a company should be held by the public? Yes or no people? If you are holding majority of the shares and only a few percentage of shares are held by the public, then why are you calling yourself a listed company? You are not a listed company. Yes or no people? So when you call yourself a listed company, there is a certain percentage of shares that should be held by the public shareholders. Now we're going to understand what is that minimum percentage of shares. Okay. Let's understand. Now the moment HUL has acquired the shares of GSK, HUL has taken over the company of GSK. Now let's assume that GSK is a listed company. Now people, the moment HUL acquires GSK, it should not cross a certain percentage of shareholding. It should not acquire so much shares that public shareholders are left with very, very less percentage of shares. No. Now we're going to understand what does this rule actually says. Right people? Let's get started. So people, the public, the acquirer and persons acting in concert who are acquiring the shares must ensure that post acquisition, HUL should ensure that post acquisition of GSK, the minimum public shareholding of 25% is maintained as per SEBI regulations. Supposing GSK company has got 100 shares. GSK company has got 100 shares. The moment HUL acquires GSK's shares, it should ensure that you cannot cross more than 75 shares. You should ensure that at least 25 shares or 25% is held by the public. Right people? Otherwise, why would you call yourself a listed company? If you are calling yourself a listed company, that means what? Public have got your shares. Now, very less shares are held by the public, then how can you call yourself a listed company? That's the reason, people, this rule has been made. You do whatever you want, but ensure that 25% of the shares of the company are held by the public. That's it, people. This is the rule. Okay? Perfect. Now, if you want to acquire, now this is an exception. Okay? This is going to be fun, people. The moment HUL wants to acquire more than 75% shares, are they allowed as per the first rule? No. But the moment they want to acquire more than 75% where public shareholding is falling below 25%, which is not allowed. But under what circumstances it is allowed, we are going to understand. Okay? Well, 1 second, just let me fix my position. Okay. Okay, perfect. So people, let's start. Acquiring more shares while maintaining 25% upload. How is it possible, people? How can you acquire shares more than 75% while still minimum 25% of the public shareholders shares are maintained? How is it possible? We're going to understand. Okay? The acquirer can acquire more shares provided public shareholding stays at or about 25%. Now, how is it possible? How can you acquire more than 75% shares, still ensuring that public is holding 25% or more shares? How is it possible? We're going to understand. Okay. Number one, selling shares to the public through offer for sale or qualified institutional placement. I am 100% sure that you have not understood anything. Don't worry. Let's come over mind map. Yes, people. So, if you want to acquire more shares while maintaining public upload, how can I acquire holding 75% shares of voting rights? Acquire additional shares? We're going to understand. Beautiful concept. If you want to purchase shares from the public, then people, equal number of shares should be sold to the public shareholders. The moment you acquire more than 75% shares, immediately you have to release a certain percentage of shares so that public float is maintained. The moment you acquire, if you are 75%, the moment you acquire 2% shares, now you have to sell 2% shares to the public, either by offer on sale, or there is one more way. We are going to understand that. Offer for sale. Shares held by the promoters or large shareholders are sold to the public. The moment you acquire shares, again, the promoters or the acquirer or any person acting in concert have to again sell their shares to the public via offer for sale. It is allowed. You acquire, you buy, then you sell. You buy, you sell. If you are acquiring more, you have to give more so that public shareholding minimum is maintained. Okay. Now this is people, this is a beautiful concept. Shares are issued to qualified institutional investors while maintaining public upload. So I did not understand anything. Don't worry. Now people, imagine there's a company called as Microsoft. Obviously there's a company called as Microsoft. So there are three categories of shareholders. Number one is Bill Gates. We all have heard his name. He is the promoter of Microsoft. His wife, Melinda Gates, she will be called as persons acting in concert. Next is people, Microsoft. Next is people, Facebook. Again, Facebook and Melinda Gates will be called as persons acting in concert. So these people are together holding 75% shares. Okay, no problem. Remaining 25% shares are held by the retail individual investors. Then high net worth individuals. Next is qualified institutional buyers. Now who are qualified institutional buyers? People, big people, ultra big people like LIC, SBI. Okay, so these people are holding together 25% shares. Okay, now people listen to me very, very carefully. What this rule is saying is that the moment you acquire, now before I tell you that, I will tell you small background. Okay, so qualified institutional buyers are two buyers. Number one is LIC, number one is SBI. Number one is LIC, number two is SBI. Now people, whatever Microsoft, whatever Bill Gates says, LIC always supports Bill Gates' decisions. LIC always supports Bill Gates' decision. But there is one qualified institutional buyer, there is one troublemaker who always goes against Bill Gates' decision, who always goes against Bill Gates' decisions. Now people, Bill Gates is tired. He doesn't want to entertain these people at all. Okay, so what Bill Gates decides is, Bill Gates acquire the shares from the troublemaker. He acquires all the shares from the troublemaker and then he gives it back to the peacemaker. LIC and SBI both are holding shares, but SBI is a troublemaker. So Microsoft decides to acquire the shares, just remove him from the company and then sell these shares to LIC again. So we are acquiring shares from the public, we are again giving back shares to the public. This is called as people qualified institutional placement. Interesting, yes or no people? The reason why such rules are made is because there may be a lot of people who do not support your decisions, who are causing hindrance, who are causing trouble. So best way is just acquire the shares, just remove them from the company and sell these shares, not to you, sell these shares again to the public who support your vision, who support your decision. Yes or no people? Chalo. So selling shares to the public either through offer for sale, very simple, or qualified institutional placement, very simple people. Now next is again an interesting concept. Subscribing to new shares, not old shares, while ensuring proportionate increase in public shareholding. What is the meaning of this? Yes people. So let's assume that company wants to raise finance. So company is issuing 1000 new shares. Now people, if company is issuing 1000 new shares, company is already holding 70% shares. Now the moment new shares are being issued, company, can they acquire more shares? Yes, they can acquire more shares, but provided if 1000 shares are being issued, 250 shares should be reserved for the public, 250 shares should be given to the public, so that minimum public float requirement is maintained. Yes or no people? Again, this is another way of subscribing to new shares while still maintaining public float. Interesting, yes or no people? You can acquire maximum 750 shares if you are issuing 1000 new shares, right? So that 25% public float is maintained. Yes or no people? Yes or no? This is what the concept is all about. Next people, very simple. Divest excess shares beyond 70%. The moment you acquire 76%, 77%, you have to sell back those 1%, 2% shares back to the public. You acquire, you sell. You acquire, you sell. But you have to sell those shares within a reasonable time. You cannot hold these shares for 5 years, 6 years, 10 years and then again you release that. No. The moment you acquire, as soon as possible you have to sell these shares back to the public, so that minimum public float is maintained. Yes or no people? Now let's come back to the concept. Divest excess shares beyond 75% to restore public float to 25% within the prescribed time. So let's quickly revise. What is the rules, is people? Additional rules, that the moment you acquire 25%, 30%, 40%, you acquire it. It's okay, absolutely okay. If you are complying with the rules and regulation, it is absolutely okay. But if you are acquiring the shares of a listed company, you have to ensure that minimum public float of 25% is maintained. Minimum 25% shares are held by the public. Okay. Now, what if you want to acquire more than 75% shares? Are you allowed to do that? Yes, yes, yes. But you have to ensure that public float of 25% is maintained. How is it possible, people? In 3 ways. Number 1, the moment you acquire shares, you have to sell those shares back to the public via offer for sale or qualified institutional placement. Number 1. Number 2, the moment new shares are issued, you can still acquire new shares, provided 25% of new shares issued are reserved for the public, are sold to the public. Okay. Number 3 is very simple. The moment you acquire more than 75% shares, the moment you realize, oh my god, I'm holding more than 75% shares, no problem. You have to sell those shares back to the public within a reasonable time. Very simple, people. Yes or no? Chalo. So these are the additional rules, people. In exam, question can be asked. Describe public float requirement. What are the additional conditions a company has to comply with if they want to acquire more than 75% shares? You have to write down this answer. I'm going to teach you how to write answers for 3 categories of question. Number 1 is how to answer case study based questions, how to answer direct question, and how to answer those questions whose answer you do not know. Okay? In the next lecture, I'm going to teach you people. Right? So, without wasting any time people, let's continue with our next topic. So, we are done with types of takeover, requirement of open offer again. Then additional rules also we are done. Now people are going to understand voluntary open offer. What is the meaning of voluntary open offer? Yes. So people, what is the meaning of voluntary? Voluntary means I am doing it purposefully. Nobody is asking me to give an open offer. I am doing it purposefully. Now people, the moment an acquirer is already holding 25% shares, is already holding 25% or more shares. Now people, let's take an example of Elon Musk and Twitter. Okay, the moment Elon Musk has made an open offer first time, now he is holding more than, now let's assume he is holding 30% shares. He is holding 30% shares. Elon Musk is holding 30% shares. Okay, in Twitter people, in Twitter. Okay, now Elon Musk wants to now quickly acquire the shares of Twitter. He wants to acquire quickly the shares of Twitter. He does not want to wait for SEBI to trigger open offer and not, he does not want unnecessary complications. Quickly, he wants to gain total control over Twitter because he really believes in Twitter can grow exponentially. Twitter can be put in a right use. Quickly, he wants to acquire Twitter. Next people, he wants to gain control over the management of Twitter. He wants to gain control over the management of Twitter as soon as possible. So SEBI gives you permission to voluntarily make an open offer. To voluntarily make an open offer. We will not ask you, we will not wait till you cross again 5%, 4%, 6% and all. The moment you want to gain control over the management, you have got enough money, you want to increase your stake in the company quickly, you can do that. You can voluntarily make an open offer. You can voluntarily make an open offer to the public shareholders. Okay? Now we're going to understand how can a company make a voluntary open offer. Beautiful concept. The purpose behind this rule is when an acquirer wants to quickly gain control over the target company is called as voluntary open offer. Cool people? Chalo. Let's understand. So over here people, SEBI is not asking you to make a voluntary open offer. You are yourself making a voluntary open offer. Yes or no people? Yes. Let's read. How many points are there? 7 points are there. Beautiful 7 points. You're going to love it people. This is my guarantee. Okay? Let's start. A voluntary open offer is initiated at the choice, at the discretion of the acquirer without any regulatory obligation. He wants to gain control of the management quickly. He wants to increase his stake in the company quickly. So he's making a voluntary open offer without SEBI's interference. Okay? But SEBI puts a condition that if you are making a voluntary open offer, go ahead, we don't have any problem, but you have to comply with certain conditions for making a voluntary open offer. What are those conditions? We are going to understand. The acquirer must offer to acquire at least 10% shares. Okay, voluntary open offer does not mean that you can acquire 2%, 3% shares. No, if you want to make a voluntary open offer, if you want to increase your stake in the company, if you want to gain control of the management, you can make a voluntary open offer, but provided we want to know that you are extremely serious about this company, so you should also be willing to pay that much to gain control. Now, how much are you willing to pay? You should be willing to pay to purchase at least 10% of the voting rights or share capital from the public shareholder. Then you can make a voluntary open offer. Okay. Elon Musk is holding 30% shares in Twitter. Okay. Now Elon Musk does not want to go slowly. He does not want to cross the threshold of more than 5% of financial and then wait for SEBI for triggering them again open offer. No, he does not want complication. SEBI says you are allowed, but if you are really serious, you should be willing to acquire additional 10% shares in the company at least. Okay, at least. Now, when is this voluntary open offer applicable? The acquirer must already hold at least 25% of the voting rights in the target company. Okay, if you suddenly overnight, if you acquire shares, that means what? You were not committed to the company from the beginning. Immediately you found that the company has got an opportunity, you want to exploit that, you are gaining control. No. You should at least hold first 25% shares in the target company. After that only you can make a voluntary open offer to increase your stake. Okay. So this ensures that no random investors are acquiring the company. If you really want to acquire, you acquire, provided you go by phase-wise manner. First you acquire 25%, then you make a voluntary open offer. Okay. Now, this is very, very important, people. Listen to me very, very carefully. The acquirer must not have, I will mark it as yellow. The acquirer must not have acquired shares in the preceding 52 weeks that would have triggered a mandatory open offer. Sir, did not understand anything. No problem, people. If you are making a voluntary open offer, now when can you make a voluntary open offer? If you have already acquired 25% or more shares. Yes or no, people? Now that if you have acquired 25% or more shares, you might have given an open offer. Remember, people, first condition, if you are acquiring 25% or more, you should give an open offer to purchase additional 26% shares. Yes or no? Now, if you are making a voluntary open offer, if you are holding 30% shares in the company, if Elon Musk is holding 30% shares in Twitter, now he wants to make a voluntary open offer, he has to ensure that in the last 12 months, he has not triggered any mandatory open offer that he has not complied with. Now he is making a voluntary open offer. No. If you want to make a voluntary open offer, you should have given a mandatory open offer. Public shareholders should have given an opportunity to sell their shares. You should have gone through that process, and then only you can make a voluntary open offer. If you have gradually, without telling anyone, secretly if you have acquired 30% shares without making a voluntary open offer, and then now you are making a voluntary open offer, SEBI will keep a check on you. SEBI will ensure that in the last 12 months you have not omitted the mandatory open offer. Yes or no, people? That is the reason why this rule has been made. Yes, no? Yes, no? Yes or no, people? So the acquirer must not have acquired shares in the preceding 52 weeks that would have triggered a mandatory open offer. Yes or no, people? Perfect. Next. This is very easy. Next rule is very, very easy. No acquisition of shares is allowed during the offer period. How is it possible? During offer period, you have to acquire shares, right? How is it possible? How can you not acquire shares during the offer period? Except through open offer process. Which means what? If you want to acquire shares, you can acquire, but only through the open offer process. You cannot have secretly private deals with anyone. That will be injustice to the public shareholders. If you want to acquire shares, you can only acquire through an open offer process. Yes or no, people? So that everyone will have the same route to sell their shares to the acquirer. Cool, people? I'm expecting people, I'm ensuring, okay, I'm just expecting that you guys are enjoying this lecture because we are understanding rules and regulations using logic. We are understanding from SEBI's point of view. Why did SEBI made this rule? We are understanding. Yes or no, people? Okay. When you understand, people, when you understand the logic behind the law, then you will never forget this law at all. We are also learning the decision making skills from SEBI. Yes or no, people? Yes. Chalo. Now one more. This is again interesting. after completion of voluntary open offer. 30% you have acquired, now additional 15% you want to acquire through voluntary open offer. 48% now you are holding. The acquirer cannot acquire additional shares for 6 months. Now that you have acquired some majority of shares, okay, 30% shares you have acquired through an open offer process. Now you are making a voluntary open offer to acquire additional 15%. Now you are holding 48%. And now people, market is very sensitive. Market is very sensitive. Now again, if you acquire shares from the open market after completing voluntary open offer, again if you secretly go and purchase the shares from the market, market is very sensitive people. If you buy, it is going to fluctuate very badly. So SEBI says that if you have acquired, if you have made a voluntary open offer, you cannot purchase shares secretly from the market. If you want to purchase still shares, you can purchase, but it should be a very transparent process. Now what is the meaning of transparent process? We will understand. They make another voluntary open offer. If you make another voluntary open offer, it is completely transparent. Yes or no people? Market will not fluctuate then, because everyone knows now, right? If you secretly purchase on the market, then it is not allowed, right? Because market is sensitive. Whatever you do is drastically going to impact the market. So if you want to do something, if you really want to acquire shares, you acquire shares in a transparent open offer process. Yes or no people? So number one way of acquiring again shares after you make a voluntary open offer is you make another open offer, no problem, or they participate in a competing offer. What is the meaning of this? You'll understand. Let's say people, beats electronics. Now people, this is Elon Musk and this is Mark Zuckerberg. Okay, this is Beats Electronics. Now people, now Elon Musk is holding 30% shares in Beats Electronics. Mark Zuckerberg is also holding 30% shares in Beats Electronics, right? Now both of them have acquired such amount of shares by making a open offer and all. Now people, both of them want to acquire more shares to gain control over Beats Electronics, right? Now if SEBI says, now that you have made a voluntary open offer, you cannot acquire more shares. Does that make sense people? No. If these people really believe in the company, if they want to acquire more shares, either can they make a voluntary open offer or they can compete in the offer. Let's say Mark Zuckerberg is making a voluntary open offer to purchase 15% shares where per share value is 500 rupees. Per share value is 500 rupees. Okay. Now Elon Musk has already completed his voluntary open offer. Now SEBI says you cannot acquire more shares unless it is voluntary open offer or you are submitting a competing offer where you are also willing to purchase 15% shares like Mark Zuckerberg, provided now you are paying 520 rupees per share. So if you are competing in an open offer, you are allowed. You are allowed. So SEBI says once you have finished with the voluntary open offer, you cannot purchase shares from the market unless it is a voluntary open offer again or it is for competing in the open offer process. Very simple. Yes or no people? Chalo. Now last is over here. If SEBI says to the acquirer that buddy, if you want to make a voluntary open offer, you should acquire at least 10% shares from the public shareholder, then only you can proceed with the acquisition. Now people, now tell me, don't you think if acquirer is genuinely interested in the company, if acquirer genuinely wants to take over the management of the company to grow that company exponentially, don't you think he should also be given some benefit? Yes or no? So over here, SEBI gives him the benefit. Now what is the benefit? We'll understand. The acquirer may prescribe a minimum level of acceptance for the voluntary open offer, making the offer conditional. The acquirer says, Elon Musk will say that I am making a voluntary open offer to purchase additional 15% shares. I will only proceed if I at least get bids to sell 10% shares or 7% shares, 6% shares, 5% shares. Okay, I will go ahead with the offer only if at least I receive 10%, 7%, 8% shareholders agreement to sell their shares. Otherwise, I will not proceed. Okay, if I am genuinely interested in the company, I want a major portion of the shares. If I am making a voluntary open offer without asking SEBI to step in, that means what? I am genuinely interested in the company. If I am genuinely interested in the company, I should be given some benefit. So I can also put a condition that minimum 5%, 6%, 7% shares should be sold to me. Then only I will proceed with the open offer. Yes or no, people? Perfect. Now let's quickly revise every single thing using mind maps. Chalo, voluntary open offer. So, voluntary open offer is at the will of the acquirer. No regulatory obligation. No SEBI tells them to acquire shares. No. They voluntarily make an open offer. Okay. Now, SEBI says acquirer should acquire at least 10% of shares. Then only he can proceed with the voluntary open offer. Okay. Number 3. The condition to make an voluntary open offer is acquirer must hold at least 25% voting rights in the target company. Okay. Now, one more condition. If you want to proceed with the voluntary open offer, you should not have acquired shares in the preceding 52 weeks. That would have required you to make a mandatory open offer, and you have not complied. You have not given the mandatory open offer. You have secretly purchased the shares. Not allowed. You cannot make a voluntary open offer. Next is, people, no acquisition shares are allowed during the offer period except if it is open offer process. You cannot purchase shares secretly from the market. Next is, acquirer can also prescribe a minimum level of acceptance. Then only I will proceed with the voluntary open offer. Now, post completion, you cannot acquire shares for 6 months unless it is voluntary open offer or it is a competing offer. That's it, people. Question can be asked in exam for 7 marks about voluntary open offer. You have to write this. That's it, people. Very, very simple. We are understanding rules along with logic, so you will never forget. Yes or no, people? Perfect. Okay. Now, next is, what are some exceptional situations where you can withdraw the voluntary open offer? Now that you are given a voluntary open offer, now can you withdraw that? No. But under what some extraordinary, exceptional circumstances can you withdraw the voluntary open offer? We are going to understand. Okay. An acquirer can withdraw a voluntary open offer only under specific conditions. Okay. What are those conditions? We are going to understand. Number 1, statutory approvals required for the offer are refused by relevant authorities. Which means what? One banking company is going to acquire another bank. One bank is going to acquire another bank. Companies Act gives them permission, everyone gives them permission, but RBI does not give them permission. So that acquirer can withdraw their voluntary open offer if statutory approvals have been refused. RBI can refuse, Competition Commission of India, which you are going to learn in the next chapter, Competition Commission of India have refused, or Insurance Regulatory Development Authority have refused if it's insurance company. You are going to understand. So if statutory approvals have been refused, can you proceed with the voluntary open offer, people? Absolutely no. Okay. Next, people, acquirer has died if it's individual. If Elon Musk is acquiring Twitter, if Elon Musk, I don't want anything to happen to him. If Elon Musk, by any chance, if something wrong happens to him, he has the option to not to proceed with the voluntary open offer. He has actually, okay, I will tell you, the rule says death of an acquirer. So if the acquirer has died, how can he proceed with the voluntary open offer? Not possible. But if the acquirer is a company, if an acquirer is an HUL, even if promoters die, don't you think do you think in any way it's going to impact the voluntary open offer? No. If an acquirer is an individual and an individual has died, voluntary open offer cannot proceed. If an acquirer is a company, they have to proceed with the voluntary open offer. The natural person. Third is, conditions stipulated in the acquisition agreement have not been fulfilled. What is the meaning of this? Now people, HUL has acquired GSK's business, right? HUL might have put in some conditions when it is going to acquire the shares of GSK. Conditions can be, I want Horlicks license to stay relevant for 10 years. I want Horlicks license to be renewed, or I want some finance to be given to me to acquire the shares. Some kind of arrangement, some kind of condition that acquirer has put on the target company, and for some purpose that condition has not been complied with, acquirer can withdraw that open offer. Yes or no, people? For example, I will acquire this company only when the license for opening this factory is given to that target company. I will only acquire HUL will only acquire GSK only when I am 100% sure that GSK is going to really make 100, 200, 300 factories to make Horlicks. If factory approvals have been given to them, then only will proceed with the voluntary open offer, otherwise will not proceed with the voluntary open offer. Yes or no? I will proceed with the voluntary open offer only if GSK shares with me the recipe of Horlicks, then only I will proceed with the voluntary open offer. If anything has not been complied, then acquirer has an option to not to go forward with the voluntary open offer. Okay. Next is people, SEBI in its discretion permit withdrawal based on again an extraordinary circumstances. Supposing if fraud has taken place in GSK, if something disastrous has happened to GSK, if GSK became insolvent, if some insolvency proceedings, some court proceedings are being conducted on GSK, then acquirer can have the option to withdraw provided SEBI gives them the permission. Very simple. So 4 conditions we understood. Number 1 was very easy, obvious, death of an acquirer, which is not applicable if the acquirer is a company. Number 2 is statutory approvals have been refused. Number 3 is conditions have not been complied with. Number 4 is extraordinary circumstances. That's it, people. That's it. Easy question can be asked that when can an acquirer withdraw the voluntary open offer? Very simple. Yes or no, people? Perfect. So we are done with this topic. We are done with this topic. Now let's come to open offer process. How will the open offer be made? First, we are going to understand this using mind map. Okay, and then we'll come to the textual part. Okay. Where is the mind map? Where is the mind map? See people, I have made a mind map for you. Raj wants to make a voluntary open offer to buy additional 15% shares. Is it possible? Yes, but he should hold at least 25% shares, then only he is qualified, and he plans to acquire additional at least 10% shares, then only he is qualified, otherwise he is not qualified. Okay. Now, SEBI will ask you, have you acquired shares in the last 52 weeks where mandatory open offer was required? If 9 months ago, if you have increased your shareholding from 23% to 30% from the market and you did not give an open offer, you cannot proceed with the open offer. If you have complied with the open offer, you are allowed to proceed. Okay. If you have not required to if you are not required to make an voluntary, if you are not required to make a mandatory open offer, you can still proceed with the voluntary open offer. Yes or no, people? I hope this chapter has been made. Chapter is super interesting, people. Yes or no? Please let me know in the comment section that whether you loved this chapter or not. If you have loved the chapter, I want to know which topic you found it super interesting. Okay, people? Chalo. Now, let's proceed with the withdrawal of voluntary open offer also we understood. So, quickly, let's revise this using mind map. SEBI permits withdrawal, obviously extraordinary circumstances, but which was very, very easy. Next is statutory approvals have been required, but it was denied. Death of an acquirer, not applicable if a person is a company. Condition stipulated has not been complied. You can withdraw. Perfect. Now let's come to the open offer process. Very, very simple. Very, very simple. So number one, you are going to submit a draft letter of offer. You are going to submit draft letter of offer to SEBI. 1 second, people. 1 second. Yes. You will submit draft, acquirer submits draft letter of offer to SEBI. Now, within how many days and within which event, we are going to understand. You have to submit draft letter of offer to SEBI. Now, what is the meaning of draft letter of offer? Draft letter of offer means how are we going to proceed with the open offer? How are we going to pay to shareholders? In which process? In which mode we are going to pay? Within which period of time we are going to pay? What are we going to do with after acquisition? Every single thing, all the details should be mentioned in the open offer. Yes or no, people? So, acquirer submits draft letter of offer to SEBI within 15 days of detailed public announcement. What is the meaning of detailed public announcement? Acquirer gives a public announcement that we want to acquire, we wish to acquire such amount of shares. Now within 5 days, you have to give an draft letter of offer to SEBI. Now the copy of the draft letter of offer should be given to the registered office of the target company. Number 1 copy should be given to registered office of the target company. Number 2 copy should be given to all the stock exchanges in which GSK's shares are listed. Number 1, you have to submit draft letter of offer to SEBI within 5 days of public announcement. Now you have to give 1 copy to the registered office of the target company and 1 copy you have to submit it to all the stock exchanges, NSE, BSE, where the company shares are listed. Okay. After that, dispatch letter of offer. Now, when will you actually dispatch letter of offer? Draft means, people, it is temporary. SEBI will suggest you some changes. You have to make those changes, and then you have to implement those changes. You have to give it back to the shareholders. Yes or no, people? So draft letter of offer was done. Now, when you have to give letter of offer, finalized letter of offer, we are going to understand. Within 7 working days of receipt of SEBI's comments, which means what? If SEBI says that you cannot have offer period for more than 10 days, okay, you have to correct that. You have to make the changes. You have to pay to shareholders using cash only. You cannot use debt instruments. You cannot use any other securities. If SEBI suggests you some changes, within 7 days, you have to implement the changes. You can submit letter of offer. Then SEBI gives you, if SEBI gives you no comments, within 15 days, draft submission. Okay. So what we are going to do is, we will not follow the mind map. Okay. It might be confusing to you. I am getting confused. Let me be honest. Chalo. Where is the open offer process? Very, very simple. Okay. Submission of draft letter of offer. Acquirer must submit a draft letter of offer to SEBI within 5 working days from the detailed public announcement. We know this. A copy must also be sent to 2 people, registered office and stock exchanges. Okay. Now when are you going to dispatch the letter of offer? Within 7 days of receiving SEBI's comments, you're going to send letter of offer within 7 days of SEBI's comments. Okay. Or if SEBI does not gives you any comments within 7 working days, after 15 working days from the draft submission. What is the meaning of this, sir? I did not understand. You are supposed to give draft letter offer to SEBI for comments. Now that you have submitted, 15 days have passed. After 15 days, within 7 days, you have to dispatch final letter of offer. Which means what? If SEBI has not given you any comments, that means whatever you have drafted is correct. You can proceed with that. Okay. Silence is acceptance over here. Okay. If SEBI, first of all, you are going to give draft letter of offer to SEBI. SEBI will give you changes. Within 7 days of suggesting changes, you have to submit letter of offer. Now, SEBI has not given you any changes. Then you have to wait for 15 days. After 15 days, within 7 days, you have to submit letter of offer. Very, very easy. Now, tendering period must start within 12 days from receipt of SEBI's comments. Which means what? After this date, you have to start tendering period. Tendering period means what? Is that period where public shareholders can sell their shares to you. Maximum it can be, period must start within 12 working days and maximum tendering period should be 10 working days. So the moment SEBI gives you comment or the moment you dispatch letter of offer, within 12 working days you have to start your tendering period. Tendering period should be of period of 10 working days. Very simple. Chalo. Now, once all formalities are completed, all formalities must be completed within 10 working days from the last date of tendering period. So now, the moment tendering period is completed in the 10th day, on the 10th day, you have to make payment to all the shareholders who have sold your shares within 10 days. All the entire process of the acquisition should be done within 10 working days. Yes or no, people? Is it interesting or not? Now let's come to the mind map. Okay. So, number 1, you are going to submit a draft letter of offer to SEBI within 5 working days of public announcement. Plus, you have to submit 1 copy to registrar, 1 copy you have to give it to the registered office of the target company, 1 copy you have to give it to all those stock exchanges where the target company shares are listed. Okay, this is done. Now, if SEBI gives you comments within 7 days, you have to submit letter of offer to all the investors who are willing to sell their shares. If SEBI gives you no comment, you have to wait for 15 days and within 7 days, after 15 days, you have to submit letter of offer. Okay. Now, when you have to open the tendering period, should be open within 12 working days and the tendering period should be of how many days? 10 working days. That's it. And then every single thing should be completed within 10 working days after the tendering period. This is how an open offer take place, people. Yes or no, people? Was it interesting or not? People, I know this timeline things might be little boring, but people, for 7 marks question, if this question is asked for 7 marks, people, what is the harm in learning this provision? Yes or no, people? Well, just 1 second. Okay. So, the next topic that we are going to study now is mode of payment. Small topic. These are all small people. Mode of payment, escrow, then forms of escrow funding, release of escrow, obligation to target company is interesting, but it is of 4 points. Chalo, interesting. Obligations of the acquirer, how many points are there? 5 points are there. And last is exemption, beautiful topic. Okay? Within next half an hour, we'll be done with the chapter of the takeover code. Yes, people? Chalo, let's begin. Now that HUL wants to acquire, HUL has decided to acquire the shares of GSK. Now, do you remember, people, in the last lecture we understood how did HUL made payment to the shareholders of GSK? Did they pay them in cash? No. They gave them the shares, 4.39 shares of HUL for every one share that they are going to purchase. One share, if I am purchasing of GSK, I'm not going to give you cash. I'm going to give you 4.39 shares of HUL to you. Yes or no? So let's understand like this how many modes of payment the SEBI allows you to make payment to the shareholders of the target company. Yes, people. So there are 4 types of payment. Number 1 is cash. Very easy. You acquire shares, you pay them cash. You acquire the shares, you pay them cash in return. Like Adani paid, when Adani acquired NDTV, people, when Adani acquired NDTV, they paid 400 rupees per share. Yes or no, people? Simple is cash. Number 2 is listed shares, which means what? HUL, when they acquired GSK, they also gave back shares to GSK. They also gave shares of HUL to the shareholders of GSK. So you can either make payment by cash, or you can give them the shares of your company, or you can give shares of your persons acting in concert. Reliance can give shares of Jio, Reliance can give shares of any company in which Reliance controls. Yes or no, people? Yes. So shares of HUL, shares of the acquirer, or persons acting in concert if they are listed. That means what? Persons acting in concert shares should be listed. Yes or no, people? So number 1 is cash payment. Number 2 is share based payment, provided the shares of the listed company, shares of the acquirer or persons acting in concert are listed on stock exchange. Very simple. Okay. Third is listed secured debt instruments, which means what? You are not giving them cash, you are not giving them shares, but you are giving them bonds, debentures. They should be listed, they should be rated at least investment grade, which means what? It should not be those bonds or debentures that people are not willing to buy. It should be those bonds, it should be those debentures that people are willing to buy. That is called as, people, at least investment grade by a SEBI approved CRA. Yes or no? Now the important question is, why would a company give bonds or debentures? So that they don't want to give out cash to maintain liquidity. Yes or no, people? If they require cash, they cannot spend such humongous amount of cash to acquire the shares. Rather, they can give shares of their company. If they don't want to give shares of their company, they can give bonds or debentures. Very, very simple, people. Yes or no? Yes or no, people? Perfect. Now comes convertible debt securities. We all know bonds or debentures that can be convertible into equity shares after a certain period of time. You can also make such type of payment where shareholders of the target company are given convertible bonds, they are given convertible debentures. instruments convertible into shares of the acquirer or PAC in the future. So there are 4 types of payment. What are those 4 types of payment, people? Number 1 is cash payment. Number 2 is listed shares of the acquirer or persons acting in concert. Number 3 is listed secured debt instrument, whether bond or debenture. They should be listed. They should be rated at least investment grade by the SEBI approved CRA. Next is, people, you can give them convertible debt securities, which can be convertible into equity shares in the future. Very easy, people. Are you guys with me? Chalo. Now comes, people, escrow account. This is a very, very interesting concept, people. Escrow, forms of escrow. Okay. People, what we'll do is, in our next lecture, we're going to discuss, we're going to revise the entire chapter. So, what we're going to do is, in the next lecture, we'll be starting from here. Obligation on target company. The next lecture, we're going to start with obligation on target company. Beautiful concept. You're going to love it. I'm 100% sure. Next is obligation on acquirer. Also, you're going to love it. And third is exemption. 3 topics we'll leave for the last lecture, because once we cover these topics, then we're going to revise the entire syllabus. Then we'll solve past year's question paper. Yes or no, people? Perfect. Now, let's start with escrow account. Beautiful concept. I will tell you what is the meaning of escrow. Imagine, people, this is the buyer, this is the seller, this is HDFC Bank. Now, buyer and seller, what are they buying? What are they selling? So, Mr. B, Mr. A, Mr. B बोल रहा हूँ, Mr. B I'm saying, Mr. B wants to sell his house. Mr. B wants to sell his house for 1 year. Mr. B wants to sell his house for 1 year. Now he is searching a buyer. He got a buyer called as A. Now, B says, I want to sell this house for 1 year. A says, okay, I am ready to pay you 1 year. I am ready to pay you 1 year. But the problem is, just give me 1 month time, just give me 2 months time. Within 2 months, I will somehow arrange these funds. Within waiting period, months. Okay, I need 2 months time to somehow arrange such a huge amount of 1 year. B says okay. The problem is, why should B trust A? Why should B trust A that he is really going to pay me 1 year? Or even if he is not going to pay me 1 year, what is the guarantee that he might not be committed to a promise that he has given to me, that within 2 months I will somehow going to arrange these funds and I'm going to pay you the money? Yes or no, people? So B says that, buddy, you have to transfer 50 lakh rupees. You have to transfer 50 lakh rupees to the HDFC Bank in a form of escrow account. So B says that I don't trust you, A. You arrange your funds, no problem, but I want you to do something so that I can trust you. You have to give out something. You have to show some commitment, and that commitment can only be shown by depositing a certain amount in the HDFC Bank. The moment A backs out after 2 months, the moment A backs out after 2 months, this money goes to B. This money goes to B. So don't you think A will adhere to the promise? Don't you think A will fulfill his promise somehow? Because now his money is stuck. If he does not fulfill the obligation, he is going to lose 50 lakhs. So do you think he is going to do some kind of fraud? He will try to find some another seller? No. He has to arrange fund, he has to give it to B. And that arrangement of fund is called as an escrow account. That arrangement of fund is called as an escrow account. So now people are going to understand the meaning of escrow account from the context of the takeover code. Okay. So escrow account, meaning of escrow. Now we don't have to understand this from a literal sense. Okay. Example or just an example, small point of view. Let's now widen our approach. Meaning of escrow means keeping money, documents or important assets to a trusted third party, that is HDFC Bank or any other third party, until both sides in the deal fulfill their promises. Which means what? Buyer has to deposit a certain amount of money in an escrow account. Once both of them have fulfilled their obligations, after that only this money will be released to the buyer back. If both the parties have not fulfilled their obligation, if one of them backs out, this money will go to that person who was promised, who has been committed and who has not backed out. Yes or no, people? Once conditions are met, third party releases money or assets. Simple. It is just to show some commitment from your side. That is the reason why people escrow account is opened. Now let's come to the syllabus. Escrow account must be opened at least 2 working days before the detailed public statement. Which means what? The moment you make a public announcement that I want to acquire the shares of GSK, before you open your mouth, you have to show some level of commitment. 2 days before public announcement, you have to deposit the money in an escrow account. Then only you can open your mouth. You do whatever you want, but keep money from your side. Show some level of commitment. Okay. Now, what is the purpose? To secure payments to your shareholders. The moment you do everything and then you say, sorry shareholders, I don't have money in my bank account because of some unforeseen circumstances, so I'm sorry, I cannot pay you money. You cannot say that. That is the reason why people escrow account is maintained, to guarantee the acquirer's performance until takeover rules are completed. Third is, acquirer cannot touch escrow funds until takeover obligations are fully completed. You can touch those funds, but provided you fulfill the obligations and then you touch the fund, no problem at all. Yes or no, people? So, number 1, 2 days prior to a detailed public announcement, you have to open a escrow account. Now, can you touch the escrow account? No. You can only touch after you comply with your obligations. Number 1 is that. Number 2 is to guarantee your performance, escrow is open. Number 3 is to secure payment to shareholders. Yes or no, people? Very easy. Now the question is, what are the forms of escrow funding? Am I only supposed to pay? Am I only supposed to deposit cash, or I can deposit my shares, or I can avail some other services to ensure escrow money is deposited? Let's understand, people. Number 1 is very simple. You can deposit cash in the escrow account with a scheduled commercial bank. Now, what is the meaning of scheduled commercial bank? It is that bank which is very highly regulated by RBI. Okay. Number 2 is bank guarantee. If I want to acquire shares, I will take a bank guarantee. If I don't want to give money, then I will take a bank guarantee where SBI Bank is promising HDFC Bank, SBI Bank is promising HDFC Bank that if HUL does not pay money, we will pay you the money. Don't worry at all. We will pay. Yes or no, people? So has an acquirer given any cash? No. So he can also give a bank guarantee, like SBI is promising HDFC Bank that, bro, don't worry, if HUL does not pay money to shareholders, we will pay them money, but you don't worry. Yes or no, people? So bank guarantee, favoring the manager of the open offer. Okay, number 1 is cash, number 2 is bank guarantee. Number 3 is deposit of freely transferable securities. Even if I am not giving you cash, even if I don't give you bank guarantee, I can still secure escrow account by depositing my shares, and that shares should be frequently traded with an appropriate margin. Okay, so if you are giving out non-frequently traded shares, what's the use? Yes or no? Non-frequently traded shares does not have any liquidity. If I am giving you shares, that shares should have buyers and sellers so that it can be easily sold. It should be easily sold. Yes or no, people? Appropriate margin means you should not give shares at a very, very close value. Shares price can fluctuate up and down. If 100 crores escrow account is supposed to be maintained, you have to give shares like 150 crores, 160 crores, 170 crores. Yes or no? The moment share price reduces, it will not affect the escrow funding. Cool, people? So 3 things we have understood. Number 1 is cash, number 2 is bank guarantee, number 3 is deposit of freely transferable securities, and number 4 is, people, combination of bank guarantee or security. SBI is promising to HDFC Bank that 100 crores escrow account is to be maintained. I will give you only 50 crores guarantee. Remaining 50 crores, you ask the acquirer how is he willing to pay to the escrow account. He can say, he can give cash, he can give a bank guarantee, he can give a security. Yes or no, people? So combination can also happen. Cool. Now when will this escrow account be released? Obviously, manager can release escrow funds only 30 days after completion of payment to all the shareholders and all the compliance, regulatory compliance have been complied with. So escrow account, only when can you touch the escrow account? The moment you have made payment to shareholders, the moment you have complied with all the regulations. You cannot withdraw immediately. You have to wait for 30 days. Then only you can withdraw escrow account funds. People, till here we will finish. Okay. Now let's quickly understand this escrow using mind map, and then we will end this session. Okay. Escrow account must be open at least 2 working days before public announcement. Okay. Now, purpose is to secure payment to the shareholders. Number 2 is to guarantee the acquirer's performance under takeover rules. Number 3 is acquirer cannot touch until the takeover obligations are fully completed. Okay. Now, release only 30 days after completion of payments and all the regulatory compliance have been complied with. Then only you can touch the escrow account, then only escrow account's money can be released back to you. Okay. Forms of escrow funding. Number 1 is cash with scheduled commercial bank. Number 2 is bank guarantee. Number 3 is deposit of freely transferable securities, frequently traded with appropriate margin. Number 4 is combination mix of bank guarantee and security. Cool, people? Now I'm hoping, people, I'm hoping you guys are enjoying the session. I'm hoping you are understanding the laws using logic, and most importantly, people, I'm hoping my mind maps are extremely helpful to you. Yes or no, people? Chalo. So we are done with today. We have finished additional rules. We are finished with voluntary open offer, withdrawal open offer process, mode of payment to shareholders, escrow account, forms of escrow funding, release of escrow money. Perfect. Tomorrow we are going to complete the remaining 3 topics, and then we'll do a quick revision of the entire chapter, and then we're going to solve past year's questions And that's it, people. I'm also going to give you what all expected questions can become in the exam. That's it, people. You can get 10 marks. Easily you can get 10 marks. Cool, people. So people, if you have got any doubt, please make sure to drop all your doubts in the comment section. I'm going to make sure and promise you as soon as possible, I'm going to ensure that all your doubts are beautifully resolved. Yes, people, and give me your feedback, people, about how are you liking this lecture. If you have got any improvement that you want to tell me, please make sure to drop in the YouTube comment section. From the next video onwards, I will make sure that all your feedbacks have been worked upon. Right, people? So, let's end the session over here. Thank you so much for watching, people. Eat well, sleep well, study well. I will see you in the next one.